2018. So let's start with profiling group. That's Cote d'Ivoire, who are the host nation. So we've got So Ivory Coast, yes, also Cote d'Ivoire. Their head coach is Jean-Louis Gasser, and they've also their star player Simon Adingra. He plays for Brighton and Hove Albion. AFCON appearance 24, 99 matches. They've won 44, they've drawn 29, and they've lost 26. Titles, two-time winners, 1992 and 2015. Like I said, that final was against the Black Stars of Ghana. AFCON ranking, they are 6th. Yes, CAF rankings, they are, okay, yes. So that's it, 8th in that competition heading into. Yeah, quick thoughts on, Ivory Coast.
Yeah.
I think the onus lies on them to, they would want to host and win this.
Yeah.
The last time they tried doing that, like I said, they exited in the group stages. I don't know, do you think that there's pressure on them? But quick thoughts on what you think.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of pressure on them. And I'll give you an example to sum up how much pressure this team is under. Because in the lead up to the tournament, the former Prime Minister of Ivory Coast, of Cote d'Ivoire, he was sacked by the president, Alassane Ouattara.
Okay.
And a sports minister was appointed, and he pretty much acted like a de facto prime minister.
Yeah.
And that should tell you how much prominence and importance they've attached to hosting this tournament. It's more or less a way of saying to the world that, yes, Cote d'Ivoire is ready. Yes, we've been to a couple of World Cups after the Civil War, but we just don't want to be known or recognized for, in terms of media coverage, for echoes of going back to our Civil War days or something that's connected to the FIFA World Cup. We want something that's connected to Africa, and the best way to do so is by hosting this tournament in peace times. And so there's a lot of pressure on this Cote d'Ivoire team to ensure that, yes, they end up winning this title to fast track and continue the peacemaking.
That'll be a third title for them,
and the bonding in the country, and ensure that pretty much they have a clean image. They continue with that clean image. And yes, they have the squad to be able to win it. I think it's one of the most balanced and most talented squads.
They still got Max Gradel.
Yes, they got Max Gradel.
This will be his 7th AFCON.
Yeah, they have everything. They have everything in terms of experience, in terms of youth, creativity, defending, midfield, balance. They have everything.
Yeah.
But the one thing I'll be looking out for is how they deal with the pressure, because there is a lot of pressure on this team. And so if there is any factor or hindrance that prevents this team from winning the title, I think it will be how they deal with the pressure and the level of expectation. If they can deal with it, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if they end up winning it. They are one of my 3 favorite countries to win it, aside Senegal and aside Morocco. So yeah, it's all about how they deal with the pressure. The star players, yes, we had Sebastian Haller's picture on the screen. You also talked about Simon Adingra.
Mas Gradel, he's not a star player, but he's got a lot of experience.
Yes, I think for me, the player I'll be looking out for is Wilfred Singo of AS Monaco.
Okay.
I've watched him a little bit because of Mohamed Salisu's situation. He stepped up and he's played so well at a high level. 23-year-old defender. He already has a goal for AS Monaco in 15 appearances in the league. And so I'll be looking out for how he performs, because a lot will depend on how he performs, and in terms of partnering with the likes of Wilfred Bolly and Serge Aurier to ensure that they're able to defend very well and complement the efforts of the midfielders and the strikers. No doubt they'll score goals. They'll score goals. It's all about how they defend and how they protect their goalkeepers. Okay.
Well, let's get to the other team. The next on the list is Equatorial Guinea, who is in that group with that's the Ivory Coast, and their head coach is one Michael Bian, a star player Emilio Insue. This will be 3 AFCON appearances for them, 50 matches. They've won 6, they've drawn 4, and they've lost 5. They had to win an AFCON trophy, CAF ranking 18th. I don't know. Yeah, would you want to say they one of the sides Ivory Coast would fancy their chances against? I don't know what you think about Equatorial Guinea's chances in that group.
Look, I mean, their coach have tried to modify this team. He's tried to make this team his own, and that's the most important. You check his win rate for the team when he came into the helms of affairs, and it's quite a number to speak well of. So, I mean, going into bringing this side into the African Cup of Nations proper, I feel, there are some stats that he's not looking at.
Okay.
He's looking at how he's built the squad in the recent time, the number of, or the profile of friendly games that he's played, and what he can get out from his boys. And it's quite impressive as a former man of his country, leading his country into
he would want to make a huge statement
tournament with a 64% win rate with his side, winning in the the last friendlies that they've played. I mean, all these numbers, 0 titles, what have you, really it wouldn't really matter to him.
Yeah.
What is important to him is his first game. He takes games, a match at a time, and that's what is up in his mind. So I believe that, every tournament has surprises. They have players that, they have teams that you don't think that they can make any presence. They have teams that you wouldn't mention. And fortunately, this time around, we have the 3rd best placed team. Yeah. And you never know where they can get
to go.
It is wide open.
To look at it and
it's
say,
a wide open
we can give
tournament.
it a shot.
It is wide open tournament.
Okay.
So, I mean,
I think for me, their key player is Jose Machín, who plays for Monza in the Italian Serie A.
Yeah.
I think a lot will depend on him. In Suwe, because of his exploits in the past AFCON.
Yeah.
So he gets all the shine and
recognition.
And the recognition. But for me, I think it's Jose Machín, who plays for Monza in the Italian Serie A.
Okay.
And I think it depends on how he ends up playing for Equatorial Guinea. A lot will depend on him.
Brilliant stuff. Now, next on the list is Guinea-Bissau. The opening game is against the host nation, Ivory Coast. And I think that if you look at that game against Ivory Coast, Guinea-Bissau themselves would want to pick up first 3 points. Basiru Kande as their head coach, their star player, Mama Balde, AFCON appearances. They've got 9 matches. They had to win. They've drawn 3 times. And they've lost 6, title 0, CAF ranking 21st. I mean, that's another one to look out for.
I think with this group, it's a straightforward battle between Ivory Coast or Côte d'Ivoire and Nigeria as to which team qualifies.
Will qualify. Okay, so taking first spot and second spot.
Taking first spot and second spot, because I don't see any of these teams being able to upstage them to pick up one of those top two spots. For Guinea-Bissau, Mama Balde, star player, plays for Olympique Lyon. He's one of their best players. At the end of the day, he hasn't shown too much for Olympique Lyon this season. He's played 10 games for Olympique Lyon. Doesn't have any goal, doesn't have an assist in those 10 games or 10 appearances for Olympique Lyon. So I think he's one of those guys who,
experience-wise, he brings it.
Who turns up for his national team, but when it comes to the club side, they tend to have their fair share of struggles. But at the end of the day, he's a pacey striker, strong striker. But I don't think he will be. He and Equatorial Guinea as a team will be too much to handle for Nigeria and Côte d'Ivoire.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Equatorial Guinea, they hosted the 2012 together with Gabon. Yeah. They hosted that tournament. Next on the list is Nigeria, our own Nigerian folks. And I mean, when you talk about Ghana and Nigeria, you know what's up. But they're also having a bit of a struggle. Jose Peseiro, if you listen to the Nigerians talk about how things have started quite slow, it's not looking good. So let's check out the profile of Nigeria. There you have it. Head coach Jose Peseiro. Their star player, of course, Victor Osimhen, the man of the moment. AFCON appearances Nigeria have got 97 matches, 53 wins, 22 draws, 22 losses, 3-time champions. The first time they did so was 1980, 1994, and 2013. CAF ranking 6th, so they are in the top 10. Abeku, Super Eagles of Nigeria. They've got all the talent up front, but defensive. I always say that.
But aside the talent they've got up front, they are the side that they pay coaches well.
Okay.
I mean, you look at the list of the highest coaches, for this African Cup of Nations, and their coach shows up. It tells you what they want to do with their football. They have a well-organized.
The Nigerians have actually got issues. I mean, They are
with
not
their-
too
with their
excited
national
with
team?
the way
Absolutely.
Jose Peseiro is setting up his team. They,
ab-
they feel he can give a lot more, especially if they look at the squad they've got currently. They think that, look, they are one of the sides who should be beating the likes of whoever they face. The last time, I think they played Saudi Arabia in a friendly, they lost.
Yeah, they lost to
Yeah,
Saudi
That's
Arabia.
it. And I mean, if you listen to the people in Nigeria, look, if they had their way, they'll let go of him.
Yeah, I mean, I've had an intel, with this coaching situation, which indicates that he might go just like you are indicating. And if this AFCON is a period for him to experiment what he's really gotten to show, and that's instrumental then again because there's a squad. I mean, the star player Victor Osimhen led a team to win, a major laurel in how many years? And it tells you that. You look at the Nigerian team itself, they also have, just like Ivory Coast, at a point they have, star-studded squad.
Yeah, at a point
and
they fade off a bit.
to the point they fade off a bit. And, I mean, for Victor Osimhen, he needs to bring his form to the party.
Quick one. Do you think there's pressure on Osimhen to lead this team after being given, CAF best player? Is there pressure?
Yeah,
Yeah, there
absolutely.
is pressure. There is always pressure because at the end of the day, you are the guy who is the most high-profile player on the team.
Yeah.
And you have the CAF award.
And couple the fact that his exploits with Napoli leading him to the Scudetto forward.
And he hasn't been
And a
able,
very-
in 30 years,
Yes.
he hasn't been able to necessarily translate that to success with
Nigeria.
the Super Eagles because they failed to get to the World Cup when every indication showed that, yes, Nigeria has the best odds to qualify to the AFCON, especially when they played against Ghana, with Ghana coming off that terrible performance at the AFCON. Because the 1984 AFCON that I profiled...
And of course, at the World Cup qualifier.
Yes, the 1984 AFCON I profiled, that was our worst performance up until the 2021 AFCON because that group won one game.
Yeah.
They lost to Nigeria 1-0. They lost to Algeria 1-0.
Okay.
Then the last game, they beat Malawi 1-0.
Okay.
And so at least they got a win. But at the 2021 AFCON, Ghana didn't win any game. We lost to Morocco, drew with Gabon, and lost to Comoros. So before the 2021 AFCON, that 1984 AFCON campaign was our worst. That's why they dubbed it the debacle of Boake. And it got to a point where, you had to be dissolved. Then the 2021 AFCON came. Then we had our worst campaign. But for Nigeria, yes, there's a lot of pressure on them. And they are dealing with a lot of injuries too.
Yeah.
Because Wilfred Boniface, who plays for Bayer Leverkusen, is injured. Omar Sadiq, who plays for Real Sociedad, is injured.
Taiwan Wuni.
Then you also have the likes of Frank Onyenka, he also is injured.
Okay.
And so they have some injury issues, aside the fact that their team is not really that balanced. On top of that, Wilfred Ndidi is also going to miss this tournament. So that puts a lot of pressure on their defensive midfield to get it done. Because even when the other players were available, it was imbalanced. And now it is being stretched out, this issue. So for me, Nigeria, yes, they land in a very good group.
Okay.
They can qualify, but I don't see them having a deep run in the tournament.
Okay.